All right, hello guys. Welcome. We're back for another stream. We're gonna be doing a normal stream, guys. Just a little bit of a normal one. We'll be talking about the ending of Winds of Winter. We're gonna talk about A Song by Some Fire as well, just in general. I wasn't sure what I wanted to title this, and I did Winds of Winter specifically because I think it's a little bit more easier to predict. It's like more in the realm of like actually being able to predict it correctly. With A Song by Some Fire's ending, there's just so many things that could possibly happen, but we will talk about it a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit. And also, I have a little bit of an announcement. This is a very important moment, okay? Because Matthew, my main mod, is, he's got life going on and he will not be able in the streams very often. I have decided I need to make another executive mod. And I'm going to make it Maz. Maz, you are going to be moved up to a mod, if I can actually do it through this. Can I do it through this? I don't think so. Hold on. Maz, I'm going to make you a mod at some point. I might not do it in this stream because I don't have access to it on Streamlabs. But yeah, I needed another mod. And, you're always in the stream. I know there's a lot of people are always in the stream. But, I will do it when I get the chance, Maz. I can't access it through Streamlabs, so I'll have to actually log in and do it. But, But hi guys, how is everyone? Danny wins, maybe. The lad Young Griff wins. We love to see that. Hi Tevin, hi Maz, hi Agor, hi Jesse, hi Violet. Do you think we'll see the sword dawn in Winds of Winter? I think so. I think like George has put too much hype around it. He's put a lot of emphasis on it that I feel like it has to be some part of the story. Whether it's going to be a big part or a little part, I do think it's going to be in it. But yeah. Hold on. I think my chat's a little goofed. Let me sign in. Hold on. It looks a little goofed right now. Okay, I think I'm logged in now. Give me a second, guys. I'm doing something. All right. Maz, you are officially a moderator. Do not abuse your powers. Don't do it. He'll go Maz with power. Maybe. He might. I've seen his guns. I've seen his profile picture on Discord, and I think it was Instagram. He may go a little insane. Hi, Andrew. How are you? Also, I'm glad I actually went to the YouTube, chat thing where I'm signed in because it literally wasn't even showing all of your guys' chat. But yeah, I think Dawn could be Lightbringer. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of been hinted at it a little bit. They have a lot of similarities, but yeah. More like no one wins and some people just get to live. More accurate, Violet. That is more accurate. I feel like I just got promoted to the Kingsguard. You did. It's basically what you are. You know what? Honestly, I would say Hand of the King is better. The problem is, I have a lot of moderators, so, you're more like my small council. You deal with matters in which I can't do while I'm doing the stream. For instance, somebody comes in and they start saying some wild stuff, right? I can't, mute them as fast as you guys can, right? Because it's I'm trying to do a stream, so it's yeah. But, that's what I would do. Hi, Rachel. How are you? How are you doing? Hi, Dirty Dan. How are you? Hi, Avery. How are you? I want to learn more about the Order of the Green Hand that was mentioned when Davos went to White Harbor. Yeah, that's something that's been, very mysterious. That would be really cool. What have you missed? You have not missed much at all. We have just started the stream. I was trying to promote someone to a moderator, so Maz is now a mod. Because Matthew, my main boy, is, he's doing some things. I won't, reveal his private stuff, but he's doing some things. But how are you? Davos wins, I bet. Davos should win. Davos would be a fantastic king. Okay, I'm just saying, of all the people that would be a good king, Davos would be one. Davos kind of strikes me as though he'd be an Aegon the Fifth type, where, he would be so in favor of more of the common people that it would piss off all of the, royals, all of the noble class, the higher class. Because think about it already, Davos is someone that, people already scorn him for his high position, and he's very low birth. I am good, Avery. I had a very productive day. Usually Mondays are probably my busiest and most productive days because I have a stream, I have a lot of video stuff to do. I always usually edit my chapter analysis on this day, so I already got that done today. I still got to record. I recorded one video for you guys already this week. I got to record another one because my Feast for Crows Part 3 is going to be coming out this week. And so I've been scrambling to get all of my notes done because I've read up to where I wanted to do the next video. But I've had to actually write down all my summaries, all my things I want to talk about in the video. So I got that done today. So I just got to record that either today or tomorrow or Wednesday. And then I also put out my community polls, or not community polls, community questionnaires or Q&As or whatever. So if you guys have those for the Tyrion video, it's probably going to go up probably Saturday. But yeah. So yeah, very productive day. And I saw one of my old teachers, and so that was pretty cool. From high school, and I did some school stuff. But yeah. Doing well. Just waiting for House of the Dragon Season 2 by this point. Wins not anytime soon. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Some people liked what I said in my my George R. R. Martin video about wins and his Twitter and stuff, but some people did not, so I don't know. That was me just ranting, to be honest. I like Davos to end the story as Edric Storm's regent in the Stormlands and Lord of... That'd be a really cool one, Jesse. I didn't even think about that. That'd be really cool. I like that idea. Have you read any of George's older work? Like, I have not, Heaven, I have not. Love to see that, Rachel. I feel like a Stark or a Martell would be a good king. Ned and Doran have a deep appreciation and love for the small folk. That's true. I mean, I think the thing with Ned, or like a Stark in general, is they're not great at like the political maneuvering usually. Like Ned wasn't too bad. Like I've talked about this. This is something I talk about in my rereading all the time. And like he's not that bad. It's just like he doesn't have, I think, the patience for it, right? He doesn't have the temperance for it. Martell though, I think that would be really cool. I mean, we've already seen, like, if you think about Baelor Breakspear, he was like part Dornish, so I think that'd be really cool. You're reading through Feast pretty quickly. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like, it's not even like some people might think it's like, oh, it might be a hassle because you've already read Feast. Like, I haven't read Feast like in, like a year or so. And so I am like really enjoying going back. And the thing with like reading Feast and Dance is like, you can come up with so many video ideas or just things that like you're thinking about and you're like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I wonder like what that means or if anybody's made a video on it. And so it helps with brainstorming. Like one of the best things is like, and this goes with my chapter rereading as well, is like when the best way to come up with new ideas and things you want to make videos on is like actually listening to or reading the content, I guess. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that. And so, yeah, I've been like reading basically 200 pages of that probably every like 2 weeks or so. But thank you for the kind words, by the way. Dead things in the water. There are some dead things in the water. Hi, Haley. How are you? But yeah, let's talk about it. So let's talk about Winds of Winter first. Where do I think Winds of Winter is going to end out? If you guys have questions on that, if you guys have your own thoughts about where Winds of Winter is going to specifically end out, not a Song of Ice and Fire, we'll probably talk about that as well, but Winds of Winter, where it is going to end as a book. I have always said, the one thing I like about Winds of Winter, where I think George could end it, is I think the others being that last chapter, where they've come over at this point, or maybe it's some battle in the north, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Because Winds of Winter is implying that we're getting winter. Winter has come. The battle has begun. I really like that idea of it being the others and them being in some sort of conflict with Stannis. I like that idea because it wraps up the Stannis plot before we get to Dream. So I think that makes sense. But we also have like a major battle that could be of significance that people in the South could react to, being this rallying point. Like Winterfell being taken by some, unnatural force is a big significant moment. So I like that idea. And if George wants to again play on the idea of having a POV that we haven't had before and being a one-off, I think it makes sense to finally give a Stannis POV in his last stand in the North. I really like that idea. Um, Clearly ends with the horn blowing. That'd be a cool one as well. Euron blowing the horn. That could be possible. I like that. Do you think Stannis will win the Battle of Us? I do, Tevin. I made a couple videos. I think one of them's more in depth than the others. But yeah, I would definitely watch that if you want to see more of it. But I do think he will. The one thing I will say is I will be talking about that quite soon once again in December for an event I have planned. There may be someone else involved in that. You know, wink, wink to the camera. But yeah. We'll end with Dany. I like that idea as well. I like the idea of like we end out the book with Dany finally getting into Westeros. She's part of the main story now, right? She's part of the Westeros politics, gaining the Iron Throne. I like that idea as well. Dany going to Westeros. Yeah, I like that idea as well. Ends with Aegon becoming king or something. George R. R. Martin does not rush plot lines at all. I could see that, right? So are you talking Ander? Are you talking like, so we've had a chapter before where Ander has taken, or not Ander, where Young Griff has like taken King's Landing, and then we have like another chapter and you're saying like this is the chapter where he gets crowned. I think that would be cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. I think the wall might fall by the end of Winds. Yeah, I agree. I think honestly it could fall even a little earlier than that. It will be, Jim. I agree. Winds will end with Young Griff being crowned king while Stannis is at a last stand at Winterfell against the others who've taken over. I agree. I really like that. I really like the idea of Stannis being an epilogue. I think it makes so much sense given the whole story. That's true, Jesse. I mean, Jingle Bell is the stallion who mounts the world. It just needs to happen. You know, screw Dany's child. See, that was false. It was actually Jingle Bell the whole time. Also, guys, unfortunately, I don't have my tea, which is really unfortunate. I usually have my tea for these streams, but I ran out, and when I went to go grocery shopping, not last Friday, the Friday before, I was like, I want to try some new tea, and I got some tea that was like blueberry flavored. It's garbage, absolute garbage. So you haven't gotten any new tea, so I have to drink some Diet Mountain Dew, unfortunately. I think it should be both Dany and Westeros finally and the others coming forward. Ice and Fire starting to... That'd be really cool, Violet. You know what would be interesting, Violet, given like what you just talked about there? What if we get this through Bran? So it's like Bran is seeing all of these things happen at the same time. Maybe Bran sees Dany stepping on Dragonstone, stepping on Westeros, while we also see him seeing Stannis' fall. That would be cool if we see some of maybe his new powers awaken and he sees all these things. Does Jon wake up at the end of the book or before? Oh, okay, yeah. So Carson, he has to wake up early. Like he can't be dead by the end of the book or like leading into the last chapters of the book. That just can't happen. I think he will be resurrected within the first third of the book. Yes. Either way, the others have to be south of the wall, or at least on their way, like, or in possession of a way to get south by the end of the book. Is how I look at that, Maz. Do you have a favorite Song of Ice and Fire theory? I really subscribe to the idea. There's two. One is the Grand Maester conspiracy that the Mace, again, I know there's variations to it, but mine specifically is the Maesters helped cause the downfall of the dragons, the Targaryens. I really like that theory. It's one of my favorites. There's just so many sus moments that George seems like he's winking at the audience to pick up on. I like that theory. The other theory I really like, it's a common one. That one kind of is common too, but is Young Griff being a Blackfire. I really enjoy the idea of him being a Blackfire, the implications it has for the story, and kind of what, like, I feel like the Dunk and Egg novellas would be a lot more relevant with the normal story if that was the case. But I don't know. Did Stannis die in the books? So Haley, we're not actually sure, but from the last POV we have with Stannis, no. Now, there is a pink letter from, again, there's theories about who wrote it, but that it's said by Ramsay that Stannis is dead and he has lost. But he's alive from all we know, really. But also, yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't know on that, Haley. Long time no see. I'm always on the IG post, but I've been out my YouTube for months. How's it going? Grease and chat. Yeah, Matthew, I always see you on Instagram. But it's been going good. As good as it can be. I have my issues, like back issues and stuff, but you know. Young Griff in his crown with Blackfire will be magnificent. Yes, I really would like to see that. Of course, George is going to write a lot of in-depth sex scenes between Ariana and young Griff and wins, but that's exactly what I find interesting is that you bring that up. Is I just got done reading the chapter where it's Cersei and Tiana, or Tiana, however you say her name, where they're having like their lesbian sex scene or whatever. It's just one of those where I'm like, I get why it's there, but at the same time, I'm like, George, we could have just said one time Cersei tried to do that with her and to assert her power or dominance. We didn't need to go into detail. But yeah. I like the theory that Melisandre will burn Shireen and Face will go apeshit. That's a good one. I like that one. I've always preferred peach tea. I've never been like a peach. I like peaches, but I don't like peach flavoring and other things. I don't. That kind of sounds weird, but kind of how I look at it. Wins has so many plot lines built up by George to have any of these ideas be amazing. I agree. Michael says that would be a cool last chapter to mirror his first falling dream where he looks over. Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be really cool. How long does Rickon make it before he dies? That's a tough question, right? Because I talked about the possibility in the Davos Winds of Winter video that I did, is that there is a possibility that Rickon could die on the way back with Davos and have it make sense and actually be impactful to Davos' storyline. I am someone that thinks like he is actually someone that could live out quite a lot. So he is someone that could just be someone as a figurehead for the Starks to rally behind, the North to rally behind, but we actually see other people rule like Jon and that. So I think logically he could die at a lot of different points. That's a very difficult question to answer, Nicole. What percentage would you give the idea that the others are going to take over at the end? Maybe like 20%. I don't think they will, but I could see it happening. Go House Blackfire, go House Brightflame. I'm a Blackfire guy. I won't lie. Hi Bridget, how are you? Justice for Maegor? No. The real Maegor the Cruel, yes, but not that one. Thank the gods you don't subscribe to the Quentin is alive theory. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be a hater. I am going to be a hater, but I hate that theory. I really just don't. I don't like that theory. I just don't. Like, Quentin was in a situation where he made decisions that led to his downfall. Classic George R. R. Martin writing. He has a situation in which it makes logical sense that he would die. We are then given context that would suggest, logically, he is dying. Why? And also, if you look at like Quentin Martell as a character, is it more significant to the story if he's alive or dead? He doesn't really have any significance as if he's still really alive. Like, I don't know. I hate that theory. I'm gonna be honest. I hate that theory. Black or red? I'm gonna say it. I'm a Blackfire guy. Have you seen the original outline? It was a trilogy, and the first book is basically the War of the Five Kings and Dany's invasion. I have not actually, Ander. I don't think Dany will be in Westeros by the end of Winds. The problem is, it's like, if she's not, like, Ander, like, if she's not, how, like, there's so much that has to happen in Dream, and we can't have. This is the problem, right? Because if Dany's not over to Westeros by the time Winds ends, but the others are actively coming south, like, how do you connect those plot lines and make any sense? I don't know. That's my problem. Hi Ghost, how are you? Mother House Bright Flame supporter. Hi Bridget, how are you? Or I don't know why I said that again. I don't know. What are you questioning, Bridget? Do you think Jon's true parentage will be revealed in Winds? And if so, who will reveal it and how? I do think so. I think it will be Howland Reed will, and I don't know, it's like a combination. I think Howland Reed and Bran could definitely be big parts of that. Because again, if you look at where the story is going, I think it's going to be opposite from the show, where the show is like everybody's meeting up at Winterfell. So everybody was going into the north. I think it's going to be a lot of the north fleeing to the south. And so I think a lot of people are going to meet up in kind of the neck region, right? And so that makes perfect sense when you look at where Howland Reed's going to be. I think Howland Reed, plus you'll have, again, Rob's will, if it was like a written thing, like I think we think it is. all meeting up. So you have Lady Mormont with probably Rob's will. You then have Howland Reed. And so you have a lot of things kind of culminating that could happen towards the end of the book, in which Howland Reed basically says, yeah, that baby, we came back with you from the Tower of Joy, and you were Lyanna's. And that would imply Rhaegar. But I think that's how it's done, more or less. And then maybe Bran has some vision where he saw that was the case and backs that up. Unrelated, but what if Egg burned Maegor during Summerhall? I don't know, Aegor. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there would be that much significance, Carson. You want me to be honest? Or not Carson, Aegor. Stolen Carson? No, no. Palpatine? No, no. End with Howland Reed first appearance. Yes. First appearances, yes. How is George R. Martin going to make 3-year-old Rickon a compelling character then? That's the problem, right? It's like Rickon is, at this point, what, he's 5, right? He is going to be someone that's very just kind of a wild kid. I don't think he's going to be someone on the front how do I say this? He won't be in the front as much. He'll be a character that's used, I think, for the plot and for others. Aegon is getting the throne with relative ease and wins. I agree, Matthew. I agree. Oh god, we have a bunch of Maegor Bright Flame simps. Oh no. I think the Dany and the others invasion have been pushed to roughly at the same time since the first outline. If not, it'll be hard to wrap up 2 books, so I assume he has to. I agree, Michael. Do you think Ramsay dies and wins of Winter? I do, Violet, I do. And they all just move to Essos. Yes. I would love to see Fagon be Jon's twin brother. That's an interesting one. I haven't heard of that theory before. That'd be cool. Blackfire deserved the throne more. I agree, Aegor. I think the Quentyn is alive theory is just George keeping his card in his deck. There's enough evidence. Maybe he's still alive that he can pull it off. Yeah, but like, this is my thing. Like, why keep Quentyn alive though? Like, why? Like, what is the reasoning as to why we're gonna keep him alive? I just don't know. I feel like I'm a bad person for being excited for Doran to know Quentyn is dead and read. You know, I kind of also am. Okay, I'll go a step further, Violet. I'm interested to see how he's going to react to pretty much his entire family being killed. Like, Ariane's probably going to die. A lot of the Sand Snakes are probably going to die. Quentyn's dead. Like, I don't know. My new favorite theory is the wall is a weirwood tree with trees with ice. This making the wall alive. Look, ooh, okay. I like the idea behind it already, so I will. The end of the crossroads would probably be prevalent. Yeah, it always is the place. Don't forget to like and /stream don't forget to like the stream / dude, I can't speak. Oh my god. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work. But we appreciate that, Carson. Hi, random stuff. How are you? The Cunning Men were in the midst of retaking Moat Cailin when Theon had the castle surrender. The Ironborn say one tower is deserted, but Theon sees faces in the window. It was the Krennic Men. I like that. I like that idea. I hope we get to see Leighton Hightower. Honestly, Jared, I hope we just get to see more Hightower stuff in general. I don't even like the Hightowers because, you know, they're the greens and all, but they're just so fascinating. I enjoy their history. I enjoy, like, I did a video on the origins of House Hightower. And I enjoyed, like, researching them, learning more information about them. Hopefully we do. And, you know, Leighton Hightower is a very mysterious person as well. Will Arya get stabbed 1,000 times and then magically... Okay, so here's what's going to happen with Arya, right? So, she's going to get stabbed 1,000 times. But, here's the difference. She's going to get set on fire. We're going to find out she's a secret Targaryen. And then she's going to... Let's see, what else could she do? She's going to get her hand cut off. And it's going to magically regrow. And then we're going to say she was always motivated because she had the best story. Because she's the one that was actually writing the story the whole time. I hope you guys like that fan fiction. Unrelated, but I'm making my own custom Bright Flame sigil. It'll probably be my YouTube and Discord. Oh, you love to see a Ghost. When you get that made and done, put that in the Discord. Like put that in, or if you're on my like the Grease Goblin Discord, put it in there. That'd be sick. I don't like the idea of Stannis dying fighting the others. He's my favorite character, but heroic deaths like this are very bland. Fair enough. I mean, he's my favorite character too, but like, I feel like I like that death for him. I would love to see him win, but it's just not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen, and I'd rather see him die to like the others or something like that than to Dany. So I don't know. What's the deal with the cover of Fire and Blood? Whose sigil is that? What? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's just, I don't even know, honestly, but let's just say it's the off-brand version of the Targaryen one. I don't know. Who do you think will end up on the Iron Throne? Personally, I kind of do like the idea of Bran sitting in the Iron Throne, but it's like this. See, it's different than the way the show does it, because I like it in the book because it fits what George R. R. Martin, I feel like, is going for. I like the idea of it's not really Bran who's in control. It's more like, you know, the children of the forest, the old gods have kind of taken over. I kind of like that idea. But yeah, I like Bran being the person that does. I don't like Bran as a character, but I think it makes sense with the story. I do not think Rickon will be king in the north, unfortunately. So I think the chances are very low. So yeah. To add to the werewood wall thing, they are the pumps and pump the water from the underground rivers we always see. Okay. I gotta look into that. I want to see Leighton Hightower just because I feel like he's been studying magic all those years he's been in the Hightower. Yeah, I mean, he's very mysterious that we haven't seen him for a very long time. It's insane that at this point I'm more interested in Euron and Aegon than the rest of the POV characters. Tyrion, Cersei, Jaime are probably the ones I'm most excited to see of our OG cast. Well, you guys are going to be interested because I'm doing a video that is the top 10 or my top 10 favorite or best POVs going into wins. And I'm going to put it this way. My top 5 are all POVs that we got in Feast and Dance. Outside of one. That prediction is perfect. Batman, Arya, D&D fanfic. Exactly. What do you think Patches will do? He is going to do something crazy. I don't even know. Like, hold on. I could see him start being the reason that a plague starts. Because of Shireen's death, I could see him going batshit crazy and starting a plague. I really like that idea. I think everyone should be a secret Targ. I feel like that would be a very bold storytelling move. Yes. Well, here's the thing, Carson. Here's what we got to do. If everyone is a Targaryen, then yeah, everything works, right? Because then everybody can have a dragon. Then everyone can be cool. Burn the throne. Also like that idea from Violet. Exactly, sir. Because here's the thing, right? D&D did not develop Bran's storyline correctly to go to the point where Bran is on the throne and it makes it feel very ominous. Like, they didn't do it right. Like, they didn't really show the manipulation as well by the old gods, the children of the forest, Bloodraven. Like, you have to think about that, like, put this all into perspective, right? So Bran gets these dreams, and this whole time we're being led to believe that he is supposed to go north. And for Bran, it's because he wants to be able to walk again, you know, to be able to actually use his legs. He gets there, that's not the case at all. Right? Like, that's what Bran believed. And so he's come this whole way, risked his life, and the lives of his friends, Hodor, all these people. And he got kind of manipulated. Interesting. The great Matthew has made an appearance just as I crowned another moderator while you were gone. Maz is now also a moderator, so enjoy that, Matthew. But hi, how are you? How's everything going? I gotta go back up. Bran is their vessel ultimately. Yeah, I like that idea, Big. I feel like the children of the forest are definitely the big bad. Yeah, Jared, I think that makes a lot of sense for me. Does Sansa turn on Littlefinger? She has to, I think. I think Littlefinger being in Dream, to me, I talked about this a lot. There can't be a bunch of villains in Dream because we can't have all of these different like focuses on different villains, right? If we're gonna have Euron for Dream, fine. If we're gonna have, the others, good. We can't have Littlefinger and Varys and the Boltons and the Freys. They all have to, like, some of these have to go down, and Littlefinger is one I would point to. Has to go. He just has to go. Bran victory is Bloodraven victory, so I hate it. I agree. The Dany stands psychosis after she becomes the tyrant will be hilarious. Yeah. I find it so funny because I think whenever I say, like, I am not the biggest Dany fan, which is weird because Dany's one of the, fan favorites. I'm not one of those. Like, I like Dany. I think she's cool. But she's not one of my favorite characters. She's not one of the characters that I enjoy the most. But I do find that, like, funny because, like, the first book as I'm doing my reread, Dany is probably the most consistently, like, high quality chapters of the first book. Like, outside of maybe Ned. I don't know. The Advocate, you are not going to like my my top 10. That's all I'm going to say. I just looked down and I saw that. You might not like it. If Winds of Winter ends with the others arriving and Stannis having a final stand against them to buy time, I can see the chapter being on the eve of battle and fade to black before it starts. Yeah, I think that would work as well. Igor is just bitter still. Got him. I like the thought of it being both Shireen and Jon Con at around the same time from both the south and north. I imagine the people of Westeros are just closed into the Riverlands. Yeah, I agree. Greece, I hope. Yeah, I already read that, but yeah, you might not like what I put there. Even before he's in the thrall of the chicken, and Bloodraven he does questionable shit, like when he wargs Hodor. He's such a darker character in the books. Agreed. I feel like I fucked that up. I don't even know how, but okay, I said chicken. It's shit. Oh my god. I'm just questioning my sanity right now. Oh my god. Okay, now I know where I saw chicken. I saw it in Michael's comment. I feel like a lot of brand mental stuff would have a lot of can't speak. Would have taken a lot of explaining on the show, and they totally chickened out, but needed to do it. I agree. Guys, like and subscribe. Matthew comes back and he's like and subscribe right now, or else I'll terrorize all of you. But yes, thank you. What do you think Jon will be doing at the end of Winds? I think he will be the de facto leader of the Northern faction. Avery, I think. Of the 5 main POVs, according to George, Jon, Bran, Dany, Arya, and Tyrion, which of them survives till the end? I don't think Dany survives. I think of those 5, I think Jon, Bran, Tyrion are probably the safest. I think Dany is going to die, and I think Arya is 50-50. 50-50 for me. I think she is... I can see a world George kills her, and I can see a world where she doesn't. Hold on, let me switch the chat real quick to live chat. Okay. I don't know if that changed anything, but I forgot to do that. Do you like the theory that young Griff is Illyrio's son? Yeah, I love that theory. Would the White Walkers go through to Essos if they won? I know there's some similar story to the east of Essos, but are there even the same the other family members of the Targaryens? Are there other family members of the Targaryens still? Yes, there's the Blackfire line. But yeah, I think they would try to get to Essos. I don't know how they would do it, but they would try. But yeah. A good twist would be if Stoneheart kills Littlefinger. Like, imagine his reaction when he sees undead Catelyn. That would be really cool. I don't think it's going to happen just given, like, the sequence of events, right? Like, the Revenge Red Wedding plot is kicking off, like, really, like, soon. And there's still a lot of things that need to happen in the Vale with Littlefinger and Sansa to get to that point. So I don't know if that timeline really adds up, but it would be really cool. What if in the end it turns out that Bran is a time traveling David Benioff who spliced? Oh God, oh dear. You know what? Fine. As long as we get the end of the story, fine. I'm wondering how closely the books will align with D&D's show. Weren't they reading right off of George's notes, or will he change it? And so, George gave them a lot of like endpoints. Like, you need to get to this point. This is how the show will end, or this is how the story's gonna end. It's like Bran being king. I think was one of those things. He didn't give them like, how does it all get there? And there's a lot of things about the end he probably didn't tell them. They had to kind of make up or put things together. So I think there are some things that could be very similar, like Bran's ending, right? Or how the show actually was supposed to ending. But you also have to think George sees that ending, how people react to it, and he might have switched it. Like Dany going, kind of a little crazy is something I think George would have done. But would George have done it anywhere near how D&D did it? No. So, I don't know. What happens to the prisoners in the Riverlands? Does the Great John survive? Isn't the Mannerly son still there? So I think the Mannerly son you're talking about is Willis, right? Or Wylis or whatever. He's the one that gets that was in Harrenhal that gets sent back up. But what happens to the prisoners in the Riverlands? I think probably if you're talking about are you talking about the ones that are going west right now? Like that were in Riverrun, like Jane and all that, and Edmure. If so, I think they actually are going to get brought out, or like broken out of, I guess, of prison. Which three characters will ride Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion? So, Drogon is going to be Dany. Rhaegal and Viserion. So this is the tough part because there's a lot of options, right? Because young Griff, even if he's not Aegon, is like a Blackfire, he still has Targaryen blood. He could theoretically tame Rhaegal or Viserion. Jon technically could do either one of those, like they did in the show. Euron could theoretically maybe tame one with his horn. Maybe Victarion blows it, he gets one of those. I think there's a situation in which any one of those three happens, right? Or one of them just dies, right? Just to nerf Dany a little bit. So I think all those are solid candidates. Illyrio, number one cheese dad. Love to see that. Do you think Arya will kill Lady Stoneheart, or do you think it would be... No, I think it will be Arya, Avery. Yeah, I agree with you on that. The White Walkers could have the children use the Hammer of the Waters to maybe create a land bridge. That's possible, Jared. Yeah, there's no way the story ends in 2 more books. We need at least an 8th or even a 9th to finish the story in a satisfying way. I kind of agree with you. I think a 3rd book would really, really help George, but I don't know. I think he might be set in his ways. Yeah, Jesse, that's what I thought on Mannerly's son returned home. I thought, like, because I'm reading Feast, and I'm pretty sure, like, so he gets released at Harrenhal because Jaime, takes it back from the Mountain's men. And then he has him sent to Maidenpool to be sent on a ship to White Harbor. I don't know if they've made it there in the story yet, but that's basically what happens. Will Jon ever go to the south? Yes, Carson. I believe he will, or at least like the Riverlands, the Neck area, and then who knows after that. The reason the Winds of Winter isn't out is because George is afraid to get Dany. You know what? Maybe Andrew. I think Greyjohn, or the Greyjohn, the other prisoners will be freed by the Brotherhood. That's kind of where I'm sitting on that as well. When will we see the others throughout Winds, or only in an epilogue, or in a different portion of the story? So I think it makes sense we see them through Bran's POV, given he's still north of the wall. So maybe as he's coming south, we see them. I think we'll see them again and kind of like an epilogue. So I think there's like 2 or 3 moments we could see them in Winds. I think Tyrion could figure out how to nettles a dragon design a saddle for it. Brown, Ben, Plum could be a candidate as well. Those are also good candidates. Skipping ahead to Dream, but I have the mind that Arya will try to slay a dragon with a weirwood arrow like her ancestor Brandon Stark before the Starks bent the knee. That would be cool as well. I'm always like interested in that. Like, what if that would have been tried? Like, that would be cool. I don't know. That's something that I really loved, like that History of Westeros talked about in their, like, I don't think it was their last episode, but it was the episode before, I think. But that'd be really cool. Honestly, I understand the arguments of both sides of if Dany goes, if Gunna's gonna go mad or not, but I tend to think she won't. Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, I like the story either way, right? I was way more of a Dany going mad fan before the show did it, and the show kind of left me with a bitter taste in my mouth. I think Victarion will ride a dragon. Oh boy. Victarion with a dragon would be a scary thought. How do you think the Winds of Winter will rank in terms of how good it is given how much time George has spent on it? So this is the problem, right? It's because George has spent so long on this book, the standards for it and what people are going to expect of it are going to be insane, right? Like, and so for me personally, I don't like to go into books with expectations or shows with expectations because it's going to dampen how you view the show. But if I was going to guess, I would say for the general community, not talking myself, because Clash of Kings for me is my favorite book. I would say it's probably going to be around like a Clash of Kings, maybe even how a Game of Thrones is viewed. It's not, I don't think it's going to be like anything Storm of Swords, where it's the best book viewed by most people in the community, but I think it'll be good. Like, I think it will be like in between, like being maybe how I think most of the community views Feast and Dance being kind of right below the first three, but also being in that still pretty good range. I think that would be my opinion. Arya did have that meeting with the Archer and the Brotherhood. That is correct. Victarion with a dragon would be like giving a kid a tank. Yep. I agree with that, Matthew. Like, I could see a situation where it's like, we see why Dany is taking certain actions, but they are actions that are not for the betterment of the country. Where it's not like Dany is this mad character or necessarily a villain, but she stands against kind of our other heroes. I like that idea as well, Matthew. I definitely kind of agree with that, Ander. I think it's so hard to beat the first three because that story was so connected. Everything felt like it was building towards everything. And that's not to say the last two weren't, but you could tell George had a passion, love of where he was going with those first three that connected them so well, that made their themes work so well. And that's kind of how I feel like book 4 and 5, whereas they're still part of the same series, are almost their own story because they feel like really the culmination of what happened in those first three books. I do not big on the Victarion question. Who do you think will definitely be dead at the end of the series? I think Jaime will be dead, Cersei will be dead, Young Griff will be dead, Arianne will be dead, Jon Con will be dead. That's a loaded question. There's a lot of people I think are going to be dead by the end of the series. There's a good chance Rickon will be dead, Barristan will be dead, Victarion will be dead, Euron will be dead. Any villain character you can think of probably will be dead. Stannis will be dead. I think Mel will be dead. Varys will be dead. A lot of people are going to be dead. Let's put it that way. I think Dan will do something like kill Young Griff, and she won't be crazy, but Young Griff will be so loved by the small folk that she'll say she's mad like her dad. Yeah, that's a good one, right? Like, so many people could be viewing this as Young Griff is a good king. We like him. He's likable. He's very rational. And Dany is not willing to accept that because she knows that maybe he's a Blackfire. Maybe she is driven by wanting to claim her throne for the Targaryens. That will lead her to do something that's very impulsive. Maybe that's not great, and it makes her view from the public even worse and all of that. But I like that idea. I really do. I think that's why I love Young Griff, because he poses such an interesting obstacle for a character like Dany, and George can do so much with that. Hi, Jaharis. How are you? And yes, how are you? How have you been? And all that. I feel like Dany and Cersei is Rhaenyra / Aegon adjacent in how they will be viewed. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Rhaenyra is just so comparable to Cersei in so many ways. And if you've only watched House of the Dragon, that might seem like an outlandish statement, but it's like, the way those two characters operate, and I won't get too far into it for House of the Dragon spoilers, but they are just so similar, right? In really every regard. No way we get a happy ending, agreed. If we were counting, final epilogue could be everyone we know is dead, and if it's in their future a little bit, could be. Once the book finally comes out, there's going to be so many YouTubers who have their theories destroyed. Yes. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, as someone in the A Song of Ice and Fire community, I know there's going to be things that, like, I put out that aren't going to be right, and I'm pretty okay with that. I know things that I've said are going to be wrong in this book, but, you know, George can't prove us wrong until he releases the book, so, you know. It's like a tree. The first book was the trunk, completely connected to the roots. The story now has its own branches that don't connect as easy. Agreed. And that's the other thing is, like, I talk about this so much with Feast and Dance, like, their themes change. Or they don't change, but things that were not as present as, like, in the forefront of the themes in the first three books are more the forefront of book 4 and 5. The major two that come to mind. The atrocities of war. Right? How that affects everyone is way more present in Feast and Dance than it is in the first three. Like, yes, we do get it here and there with, like, characters like Arya, especially in book 3 and book 2. But that's way more at the forefront in book 4 and 5. Ruling, the struggles of ruling, yes, it's kind of, you know, it's a big kind of theme of Robert in book 1. But it's not as present, right? It's not as present. It's not a big focus. Whereas, like, book 4 and 5, we're seeing Cersei, we're seeing Dany, we're seeing Jon, all in those positions of power. Whereas, like, book 1 is much more about a lot of the coming of age story, of people growing up, and self-identity, I think, is one of the biggest themes of that first book. Also, things like growing up, you know, having to grow up way earlier in this society is something George does as well in that first book. And so that's, again, going to, you know, develop and grow as we go through the series. But I just think there's such a different shape and makeup of the first three compared to the back two. Young Griff is a great future king. Exactly, Agor. You keep that up. When the Young Griff haters come along, you keep that. Like, if Bran is a long-lived werewood king in any way, the last POV and some maester who finds him dead and gives a last account of him. But that is probably too clean and nice. Probably, Michael, probably. Young Griff will survive. He has to survive. Don't say he won't. I don't know. I mean, you can keep dreaming, but he ain't. Jesse, that's a fair point. I'm never wrong if George doesn't prove me wrong. You think Jon is still a bastard despite being a Targaryen? That's a great point, because the idea here would be like, okay, did Rhaegar actually marry Lyanna? And that could be something where he is still a bastard. Maybe that's a nice little wrinkle into it, changing it from the story. I don't know. I think Rhaegar would have tried to legitimize Jon, so I'm going to go with he is not a bastard, but I definitely could see it that way. But yeah, Michael, it would be cool for some of the theories to kind of be revealed. I don't think all of them will be. There will still be some that hold up because George doesn't reveal everything like that. It's not how he writes. But some of them, yeah, will fall to the wayside. I mean, Jon's parentage is going to be the big one. Like, if I'm wrong and it's like Ned and Ashara, for instance, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and be like, man, I'm an idiot. But, you know, I'm back. I just had dinner. What was for a dinner, Bridget? The ending of the story is all about death of legacies. Magic will die in the world for the most part. These families we followed for 30 years will be done. Very bittersweet. Yes, I agree. Twist, the chapter in Feast where Septon Maribald full-on breaks down the cycle of war to Brienne and Pod. So peak. How soldiers start with penny theft and it escalates to full-on war crimes. So realistic. Yeah, Twist. And that's the thing, right? Is like that chapter. But think about even Brienne's next chapter with the elder brother, right? It's like, it's just so perfect in my opinion. I really love it, right? I think Brienne's such a weird character to me, especially in Feast, because her first 3 chapters are like, like, you know, they're especially on a reread, they're pretty slow chapters until you get to the end of the 3rd chapter for Brienne. And then you start hitting where, you know, she goes back and she sees Randall Tarley the 2nd time. And after that, Brienne's story is fantastic. It's really all about the characterization George built up for that character, and then introducing everything that's connected to Brienne, right? Brienne's our main look into the Riverlands of the damage done by this war. She is the replacement Arya. Her and Arya have very similar themes, but also they're different. And so Brienne kind of takes off after that point, and I really do love that chapter. That chapter really encompasses what Feast for Crows is about specifically. Who do you think Gerald Dane's parents are? Could those details even be important to the storyline? I've heard theories that his parents are Gerald Hightower and Ashara Dane, or he's the bastard son of Oberyn. Personally, I have no idea, Savage. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I don't know enough information to give an accurate prediction on that. Great chapters, but Brienne's A Feast for Arc could have been condensed into 3 chapters. I do think Brienne... I think her opening could have been condensed quite a lot. I think there's a lot of downtime with Brienne at the beginning, especially like the first 300 pages or so, that I kind of agree with you on that a little bit, Andrew. I don't know about 3 chapters, but I think she definitely could have been condensed a little. Will the last small council we see be similar to the show? I don't see... Okay, so I don't think the members of the council will be nearly the same. But yeah, I don't like... I like Davos as being master of ships. But at the same time, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I would like that. I mean, Tyrion being Hand of the King, I think made sense. Brienne being the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't know. What is Bronn's tax policy? To have as many whores as possible, to have as many brothels as possible. Yeah, I think that's really the tax policy, honestly. Like, just like, yeah, raise a bunch of taxes on the brothels. There you go. But that, I think, is going to be the end of the stream. I still got to get some work done tonight for the videos this week. But I hope you guys all enjoyed the stream, as usual. And, yeah, I'll see you guys all in the videos this week or in next week's stream. But bye, guys. Hope you all had a fantastic